this is Jeanette with our Backroom Creations. Come on in. If you don't see the live button in the upper corner, you are watching the replay. Put hashtag replay and say hi. So we're just going to get our comments pulled up here. Hope everybody's staying warm today. Make sure I can see my comments. Hi, Debbie. So come on, when you get here, say hi, where you're watching from. Hope you're staying warm. Just letting the presenter prior to me finish up real quick. Excuse me. Hello. Hi, Rebecca and Brenda and Donna. Thank you, sweet Sheila. Hi, Lori Henderson. Thank you, Alicia. Hey, Belinda, how are you? So tonight, I want to say thank you to Sandra, Alicia, and Sheila. They are hosting our event today. Hi, Anita. The Rise and Shine with the chickens, and we're doing a little chick tonight. This is a little chick that I made today. Hi, Karen. Hi, Wanda. Oh, thank you for having me, Alicia. I much appreciate it. So, today's Rise and Shine with the Chickens is hosted by Sandra from Painted Hands Decor, and Alicia from Backwoods Crafting with Alicia, and Sheila from Sweetie's Creations and Decor. Hi, Mary Snyder. And then up after me is Gretchen from Made on a Loop. So we're going to make these cute little chick bowl fillers. There's not a whole lot of sewing. Hi, Kim. Hey, Deborah. Thank you for the hearts, guys. So here is just 2 pieces of muslin. And I just drew like, almost like a Pac-Man ghost character. And then I just sewed all the way around it. Because I like the fronts of mine to be nice and cute. And then I just do the hole in the back. So we'll do that. Thank you, Deborah. So I just traced my pattern, and then I sewed all the way around it. So we will just leave about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And I already have some painted up so we can decorate them and finish them. Hey, Kim, how are you? So there you just leave about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. We'll go ahead and do this one as well. I like using my rotary cutter. If you just move the fabric, it does all the cutting for you. Hi, Sheila. Okay, so we cut all the way around, and then you want to cut through just one piece of fabric. So I do these all the time. So, if you want to pull it apart like that, I just set mine down and I just barely nick it. Have some good sharp pointy scissors. I just barely nick it, and I just rip a little hole in there, and then I get my scissors in there to cut my turning slot. Hey, Angie, how are you? I have cut through both layers though before and stuff. I get going too fast, and then, but you just want to cut through one layer, because then you're going to take it, you're going to use that to turn it. Now, you want to knock off the corners. Helps them be sharper after you turn them. Hey, Brenda. All right, so now we'll turn it. This one's pretty small, so we don't need a lot of tools other than the corners. I have a big pair of hemostats and a small pair. So I use those for stuffing, and I use them to get my corners out. I've poked a hole through some of them before, and I'm like, doggone it. But little pointy, not pointy, but blunt objects. You can use a dowel rod that's not real sharp on the end. But muslin's pretty easy depending on the thickness of it. Muslin comes in all kinds of different thicknesses. Hey, Amanda, how are you? Get our corners out. So here is our little chick that we're making if you're just popping in. Get some stuffing here. So my stuffing is just from, I buy the $4 pillows from Walmart. It's a lot cheaper than buying the boxes of polyfill. So I like to use my hemostats and kind of shove it down in the corner. Because if you just stuff it by hand, a lot of times those corners get missed out. And once it's all full, it's hard to get it back in there. I kind of pull mine apart as I'm stuffing. Makes it a little fluffier. So my husband was in Walmart the other day, and he was looking in the craft aisle for something, and this lady asked him something, I don't know what it was, and he said, oh, I'm just looking for some craft supplies. Well, here he got me 4 pillows, and the lady seen him up at the checkout, and she's like, craft supplies, huh? And so he told her, and she's like, I never would have dreamed of doing that. Hi, Aldine, how are you? So when I stuff my stuff, I want to stuff it pretty tight. Because you'll get little puckers and stuff if you don't have enough stuffing in there. A little bit more. Now, all these little ripples, I'll tell you a trick, and we're not going to do it tonight because we'd have to let it dry. But if you spritz your piece with water and then just leave it sit to let it dry, it tightens up your muslin. It only works up good on 100% cotton. And then it'll tighten up around any puckers and whatnot. So there's that one. We'll go ahead and stuff this one. I've missed a couple people today. I missed Sandra's husband, Brian. I didn't get to see his. I'll have to go back and watch him. I just cut the top off the pillow. I have a bin down here. I keep it all in. Thank you, Mary. Hi, Kathy. Kathy was on a little bit ago. Well, let's get our corner stuffed. Even if you don't keep pushing it down into that corner, it'll come back out. It's like it doesn't want to go hiding in the corner. There we go. I've gone through so many pillows. I was saving the cases, thinking I would need to do something with them, but I finally threw them away because I was getting too many. That jack-o'-lantern, that great big jack-o'-lantern that I made at Halloween time, that took a pillow and a half. Hey, Natalie, thank you. If you're new to my page, I welcome you to give me a little follow. You missed Minnie this weekend? You're gonna have to watch the replays. Awesome. You're still working on your big blooper craft. It's okay. Listen, I've had blooper crafts. So I'll tell Floyd, don't you put that on YouTube. So don't worry too much about how far apart this is going. We can get it back together. Okay, I think that's enough. So I got some needle and thread here. Put a knot on it. So here's how I sew the back of mine. It's, I think it's called the ladder stitch. So you go back and forth. You make a stitch on one side. Oops. Then a stitch on this side. You go back and forth. Then as you do the stitches, so I just leave it open until I get a few stitches in there. Brenda, it's polyester, so polyester doesn't soak up the grunge like cotton does, and it's got this funky pattern on it. So, because I thought about that. So here, after you get the stitches on, you just pull your thread, and it hides your seam. So it's pulling it apart, so I try to hold it together and stitch it at the same time. I know, I'm always saving stuff, cans, jars. I even saved some of the little pudding snack cups. I always had those in the fridge. Grandkids like them. I like them. I've washed some of those out and used them for paint. But you don't want to try and pull too many stitches at once, or else your thread might break. Sometimes I put a locking stitch about halfway down. Now the only thing, the stuffing, you know, gets in your stitches, but if you take the heat tool to the stuffing, it'll melt it right away. They're not bloopers, they're just not intended the way we thought they were gonna go. There we go. So see, you can't see the stitches as much. And then we'll make a knot off. I think Tracy and I started, Tracy from Craft Around the Clock and I started sewing about the same time again. I used to sew as a kid with my grandma. Hey, Darla. So we'll sew this other one real quick. We got an hour. I'm so used to 45 minutes. I have a hard time gauging how long something will take me to do. So sometimes I over prep. Many times I under prep. You're still crafting away. So we'll sew this one real quick. If you hold your seam shut a little bit to release some of that tension, helps some. Hopefully I'll have enough thread. I hate to have to put some more thread on there just for a couple stitches. We're going to make these cute little chicks. Make some bow fillers. I've already started working on Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day and Easter. You know, that work thing that we all got to do, most of us have to do, gets in the way of crafting. I still, people are still buying the mitten sets. I just sold another set. I got finished up today. Okay. Well, not that one twice. Thank you. All right. So here's our blank. Put our needle up before it ends in the bottom of my foot. All right. So I like to do things on pizza pans because I can carry it around, and I have a table set up in the next door. Hi, Jennifer. How are you doing? Usually put a glove on my left hand, or else I'll get paint all over everything. All right. So we're going to paint these yellow, just like these. Now, you can mix your paint with water, like half and half, and do it that way. I tend to like my colors a little more vibrant and not like washed out. So I just spritz my fabric. With water, and then I paint. I know every year I start on it too late, and I just, with all the seasons, I think I'm going to keep working on Christmas all year long. Just seems like I can never make enough Christmas. So I always like to get my seams first, especially where there's the little ripples. This is chalk paint. It's a made-up color. I started with a brighter yellow, and I mixed up it's not quite a mustard yellow, but I call it mustard yellow. Oh, are you working on the angel? Awesome. Now, if you put these in front of a fan, they'll dry pretty quick as long as you don't saturate them too much. The mittens are on, if you go to OurBackroomCreations.com and go to OBC Rustic Haven, that's where the mittens are. And really the mittens, you can do them all, you know, decorate with them all year long, or at least all winter long. They're not Christmas. So we just paint these up, and then I have some dry here so we can decorate them. Now I should have, the little fuzzy stuff back here is the stuffing that was peeking out. I normally melt that out before I paint. For your mother-in-law. I don't have my mother-in-law anymore. She's been gone. Almost 4 years now. So we lost his mom and my dad within about a year of each other. Just trying to cut those off. There we go. So then I just take my cookie sheet next door. I do like to dry them just a little bit. Sometimes with the, depends on how I'm going to leave them dry. If you're going to leave them flat, you want to dry them just a little bit, or else you'll get a shiny spot on the back side. Or I have a little drying rack next door in front of a fan on the table. But there's my yellow. So we'll just put these over here to dry. But like I said, I like mine a little more vibrant, so I just go ahead and use straight paint and just sprinkle water on it. So I got 5 over here painted. So see, if you have them, I had them laying on top of clothespins on a drying rack. Brenda, my husband and I have 8 kids together. He has 4, I have 4. And then we have 11 grandchildren. Okay, so first what we're going to do is we're going to attach the pom-pom hair. Now I use embroidery string. I have a few different colors. It seems like every time I need a color, I just go ahead and buy a new one. I use the number 10. It's thinner and it goes through most of my bigger needles that I have. Hi, Tracy. Thank you. I normally add some brown to my yellow, and then if it starts to look too green, you add it. You don't think of it, but if you add a little bit orange, it brings that deep yellow back. So I have a little piece of cardboard here that we're going to use to make the pom-pom. And I wrap it around about 30 times. Thank you for sprinkling. That's what happens if you pull too much out at one time. But everybody's crafts that I have seen have been so cute. I love Tracy's little chick with the Santa hat. Now I did this earlier and I should have known not to pull too much out. Thank you. Hey Lori. You love a big family. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's not. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. About 30, 35 times. And my little piece of cardboard is 2 inches wide. So I just wrap it around there. And then I just pull it off. And leave it together. And then I'm going to take another piece of string. Whoop. And then I'm going to fold it or put a knot on it in it right about halfway. Thank you, Lori. So if you guys if you can't tell, I've been switching things to a lot of doing bowl fillers. I told them at the shop that I'm in, I've always made wreaths because that's what I made. That's what I started my business with, is wreaths and door hangers and, you know, florals. But I still sell wreaths, don't get me wrong, but I don't sell them. I sell a couple a month. This is the first year that I've actually made money all year long. So it's been really good. Thank you. Okay, so then after you make your little bundle, and then I'm going to cut off these equal, and then we will cut the loops. Don't worry about them being uneven. We'll trim them up. Oop, see, I pulled that one out. Okay, so it looks like we got a little bow tie, right? So I got me a bigger needle. Listen, I have bought so many different needles. So then I take another piece of string. And usually when I make stuff like this, I have like an assembly line. Floyd usually traces my patterns for me. There for a while I was going to put him on paint and mittens, but because there for a couple of weeks I had quite a few orders. That's all I worked on. I couldn't work on nothing else. All I was doing was making mittens, which I'm thankful. Don't get me wrong. But that's why I said I think I'm going to make them all year long, just so I have a buildup. Okay, so I just take a little bit, and then right here in the middle, now once you paint it, it's going to be a little bit harder to get your stitches in there. Just eyeball the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect. So we're going to put our little pom-pom right there. Now, I didn't put a knot in it. You can. I'm just going to Aw, thank you, Brenda. And Mary. Yeah, Christina, I completely understand. I've noticed a lot of people are going back to sewing projects. I hadn't sewed in years. Early on when my ex-husband and I got together, I didn't work. I babysat. Well, I had a licensed childcare. I had my license in childcare. But that was my job. So I was home with my kids too. So I just wrap a couple stitches and then I tie it. Is why I don't put a knot in it. So, but the vendor, the shop that we're at, I said, you know, I don't know if I still want to make wreaths. I make some of those round door hangers, and those seem to sell better. They're not quite as expensive as my wreaths. So, after I get the knot in there, I just leave the string, just trim it off, and then I pull it all up. And that's when I'm going to kind of trim it like as a half circle. Doesn't have to be perfect. Cute text. I did make some bows that I took over to the shop and I sold some. They have an open house every year the weekend after Thanksgiving, and I sold quite a bit. I had to take some stuff over. There. So, and then to get it to where it, because you're sewed right there, to get it to stay together, I put a little bit of glue in there, which, yeah, it's on. Okay. Just a tiny bit so you don't see it. I just put a little bit on that inside string. Ow! And it's hot glue, you know. There we go. That helps hold it up, going straight up. You can see my crooked lines. You probably could use fabric stiffener too. But there's a little, the chick's little comb. Yes, on the floor, because I have a shop vac underneath my table, so I just... Okay, so now we're going to do the beak. And I just free-handed the eyes and the beak, and then I used a little bit of red paint to dry brush. Thank you, Linda. So we have a little bit of red paint here. Looks good to you, Pam? Thank you. Guess I'm almost out of this one. There we go. I just need a dot. Just a itty bitty dot. Let's see here. So what I do with the eyes and the beak, I actually, see, I drew it on red first. Hey, Busby. Yes, I'm getting all my chicks in a row. I'm thinking about, I was trying to find a basket I could put them in, but all my baskets are too big. Okay, so you can, I mean, you could pretty much put the face wherever you want. This one's a little bit smaller. And then I decided to make them a little bit wider. So that's why that one looks like an oddball. But it'll be okay. So I just draw. It's almost like a carrot. I just pick a spot. Or it's like a upside down candy corn. Now this is red. So I know it's red, and then I'm like, oh, I don't like it. But then I put orange on top of it. And then I ended up, so I did like the orange, how it looked a little bit darker. And I'm doing this just to show you the color process that I went through to find it. So then it was a little bright. See, it's still a little bright. So then I got the orange paint out and went ahead and did that. Had to go wash some of my brushes I like. So this is just Waverly's pumpkin. And if you wanted to coffee grunge these, you could. I did not. Don't put the curse on me. I did not coffee grunge these. So you can see the difference in the color. Because I was like, whoo, that's bright. That looks like he's got like a neon nose. You need to get some colored markers. I have several sets of markers. The Posca are probably my favorite. Not that they're the best, they're just my favorite. And then these Sharpie ones actually work pretty good as well. I have a couple of the black ones in the Joann's brand. Of course, you know, they don't have that no more. I'm not sure if Michael's has a... I bet you Michael's has some too. But I like the Poscas because they have so many different tip sizes. There. There's his nose. Now you could do dots with black paint for the eyes, where I want to put my marker up. I keep the black out because, like, there's so many different, let me see if I can find all my different sizes in here. Heck, I used just some regular Sharpie pens as well. My black, white, and red always stay over here because that seems to what I use the most. Then these are Lottie Doodle chalk markers. They have a pretty good fine tip on them as well. I like those. We're going to need that one in a minute. And then I also like, these are dual, oh, there's my white one. These are dual tip. They have like a brush on one side. And a tip on the other. I like these when I do the little colored faces on things. I like those. But the black ones, I like in different, I think that one's right. So this one's a real, I don't know if you can see that. A real fine one, almost like a fine tip marker. And then I have a real fat one too. I think that one's the one that's drying up. I seen a TikTok or I don't know, some short where people took, I can't remember off of what brand of marker, but they pulled the tip out and they put acrylic paint in there. I think it was this one. I think it's this one I used earlier. Yep. Okay. So I just used a marker to do the eyes. But if you wanted to use the end of a paintbrush, you could do that as well. I was going to do a French knot, then I thought, no, I'm just going to paint the whole face on. Of course, you could use orange crochet thread and crochet the nose on there too, if you wanted to do that. And then once it dries, I put the little highlight on the nose. But then, so I actually shortened this. It's a little stencil brush, but the bristles were getting a little wild, so I chopped it off. So we're going to dry brush the cheeks. If you've never done cheeks, sometimes it's good just to practice, because there for the longest time, I could not get, enough. I always put too much paint on it. So now we'll do the cheeks. Less is more. You could always put more on there, but it's hard to take it off. You basically just have to paint it over again. Isn't that cute? Fuzzy. And that's all that's to these little chick bulk fillers. So we'll work on some more. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Tracy. And I mean, literally, I just took a piece of cardstock. I mean, I folded it in half and just drew. It reminds me of the little ghost on Pac-Man. You know, the Pac-Man game. So I just drew the shape and that was it. Thank you, Lori. I think I might do, what colors do you think that chicks should be? I mean, they're of course yellow, but I thought I could do some black ones. But then I seen some people do like light blue ones. I'm thinking, not sure I want the light blue. You're welcome, Debbie. So now we'll work on this. We're just going to use the orange paint instead of going through the markers and see how this goes. It might change the color. I don't know. Now, if you can't freehand the shape of the nose, you can always draw it with pencil. Or just use orange marker. Whatever color I want. Thank you, Brenda. Stuart Little. Yeah, the ones I seen, they were different shapes, but they were, I thought they did them in some pastel colors. I know when I'm painting something really small, it's hard to talk and do it at the same time. I think my nose needs to get a little longer. I almost did some in the shape of, because I still had some candy corn fabric sets cut out, and I seen somebody make chicks out of those. They would. I actually thought about that. If I could bend wire like little glasses. So let's draw all the noses. Yeah, I think that worked out well. Just the orange paint. Maybe I'll get Floyd to 3D print me some. Floyd, are you listening? Need to print me some. I just need the glass paint black. I did make some crows at Halloween time. They had little sunflowers on them. I've seen people make Santas out of the crow shape. I think it was upside down though. I don't remember. I don't know, but if I go, of course Floyd does it too. You go down the Pinterest rabbit hole, an hour later, you're like, oh, I was supposed to be doing something. All those straps of material. It's a garland. So I have, so this is a garland back here. I do have a curtain because I've got stuff stashed behind there. But those are just strips of material that I made a garland. I've got some couple other bright colored ones. I had like a nautical theme one. I should put some pictures up. I had them in the shop for a while. People here just don't like them, I guess. I don't know. Nose. Yes, I do stick my tongue out. My dad used to make fun of me all the time. My daughter does it. My granddaughters do it. That was how my dad showed love, was making fun of you. Unfortunately, I didn't have a, well, yeah, I did. I I had an estranged relationship with my parents for quite a number of years. Until the last, I don't know, 5 years of my dad's life. And then I was very estranged with my mother until my dad got sick. He had Alzheimer's. Because she was taking care of him. They live 400 miles away, so I couldn't be there. But even after my dad's gone, I talk to my mom twice a month. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I keep that garland up here. I used to trade them out back there, but I made that one, and it's got some really nice primitive patterns in it, like the penny rugs pattern on some, and I just like it so much that I just leave it up year round. I used to have a tree in here. Who's been with me long enough to know that I had a white Christmas tree that was up year long? I decorated it for Valentine's Day, Easter. Okay, so we have all of our noses painted. Go ahead and get our cheeks done. This is how I normally do like my mittens and stuff. Aw, thank you, sweet Lori. But we'll get assembly lines. He'll be downstairs. I'll cut the fabric like into squares, whatever size I need. I'll go down, give him a template, and say, Tracy's. Yep. He always said, stick your tongue out a little bit further, maybe you'll do better. Okay. You gotta stay away from the nose because it's still wet. It's almost like putting makeup on. You gotta just keep going around and around and around. Not that I wear makeup anymore. Like, why bother? I leave the house maybe once or twice a month. Ooh, that one got a little dark. There we go. I think this would be cute in a bowl with some different colors too. Because you know the mittens I did in the dark red, the blue, the black, the cream, moss green, and then the yellow. And then I did the light bulbs the same way. But I don't think the chicks would look good in those colors. All right, so now we got to do some eyes. Of course, I didn't put the hair on. I'll have to be careful. Let's see here. I think it was this marker. Nope, not that one. It was the big one. There we go. And I put little white dots in the eyes on the first one I made, and then I didn't like it, so I put black back over it. That's a good idea, Mary. Jelly bean fillers. Because I was thinking, what can I make with the chicks to put in the same bowl? jelly beans might be. Thank you, Sharon. Hey, I didn't see you sneak in. Oop, that eyeball's bigger. And that's why you use the end of a paintbrush so your eyeballs aren't odd shapes. So the bow fillers I make aren't hard. They're just time consuming because you have to cut out the fabric, sew them, stuff them, sew your stuffing hole, because I always do the hole in the back. And then paint them, let them dry. If you're going to cinnamon grunge them, then you do that and then let them dry. Egg fillers. I am going to make some eggs. Chicks and eggs, that would be good. Okay, so we have, the noses are still a little wet. So let's think we can work on some hair. We got about 10 minutes. Yeah, I did have eggs. I got a list down my computer, wrote down. When I'm scrolling on Pinterest, I'll write things down that I think maybe I want to make. And then I did do good for Christmas. I didn't try to make too many different things. I had quite a few, but the mittens kept me busy, so I couldn't deviate and make something new. I did make a Cupid for Valentine's Day. I don't know if you can see. There's the Cupid. Hey, Fatima! Chirp, chirp, chirp. All right. So, my needle, where'd my needle go? Forget which one I use now. Oh, that's because it's still sitting here on the badge in it. Okay. So I was freezing yesterday when I was at work, and if I have to look up things for customers, I always try to chit chat with them so I don't have to put them on hold. I hate putting people on hold, but so we gotta be careful of the nose because it's still wet. I always say, how's the weather your way? You know, because I talk to people anywhere from Maine to Florida to Texas to California. Talked to somebody from North Dakota the other day. But anyway, this guy lived in Hawaii. And I'm like, oh, you live in Hawaii? How fun. You will, sweet Kim. So I said, oh, how's your weather? And he goes, it's 80. I'm going surfing this afternoon. I'm like, oh. I said, that's mean. He's like, where are you? And I'm like, in Ohio. It's freezing. Over half of our snow is melted. We didn't get, my mom got 9 inches in Illinois. She said she was getting freezing rain today. Almost touched the nose. If you don't finish it tonight, you can finish it tomorrow. So I usually just do a couple stitches and then I tie it around it to keep it secure. Give it a couple knots. Now, the one thing about the hair is I do like to use the number 10 crochet thread for the hair. It's a little bit thicker. When I did the crows, if you were with me this fall, when I did the crows, I had the number 3 thread, and it does help a little bit better. Kim! I don't know no stranger. In fact, the guy that said it was 80 degrees and he was going surfing, I'm like, oh, shut up. I hope that's not one of my calls that they audit, because I'm sure they wouldn't like me telling somebody to shut up. tried, I chit-chat. I chatted with a man that was born in 1939. He was, God love him, he was trying to do something on the computer. And 45 minutes later, we got it done. 65 in Florida. Ooh, hi, Cynthia. So I'm going to put a little dot of glue just to keep the top part up there together. And I just do it. You can see a little bit on the back, but you can't see it on the front. Oop. Ta-da! The red does make a mess when you're trimming it. So I made some up prior to going live. Don't forget, Gretchen from Made on the Loop is up after me. And then I believe there's one more, if memory serves me right. Maybe we'll do eggs on Tuesday. Tuesday I have a live in the Craft Around the Clock group. Maybe we'll make the eggs to go with the chicks. Thank you. I have some bunnies to make this season. What else do I got? Got some different bunnies. I'm going to make some bunny bowl fillers too. Can't tell, I like to do the bowl fillers. I don't know. I think bowl fillers can be for so many different types of decor. Farmhouse, primitive, rustic, country. So I started doing the rag balls last year. And then I kind of shied away from them a little bit. I did sell quite a bit of Valentine's Day. Ooh, I don't think I got that in the middle at all. That one's a little wackadoodle. We'll have to do some major trimming on that one. Yeah, I need some trim. Deviled or scrambled? I think whole. Busby. I think whole. I am going to make some fabric door hangers. Going to make some ones out of canvas. Oh, the on top. I did when I made the crows, and I just didn't like how it looked. So it just takes me a minute just to put a couple stitches in there. And I feel like it's more secure than just gluing it on. So we got, this is the runt because it's skinnier. You're done singing. All right, I got two more, but we got just a couple more minutes. I thank Alicia and Sandra and Sheila. I haven't been around as much. My job is, I have kind of like in the middle of the day hours, and I haven't felt very good. You know, after you do the dishes, and Floyd does do the laundry. But I had my procedure, and it did help my back. It did help my back, but I'm waiting for the insurance to approve my injections to do my feet, because I feel like I'm walking on fire. Okay. I hate not being able to stand all the time and craft, because I just normally stand. So maybe get this one finished. I'll have just one more. Well, I'll probably make one more wide one, because you know this one was the runt. So, and then, see, are these dry? Let me show you real quick here. So, for the nose, I just do a little bit of just do a little highlight however you want. I just did one line down that one. Just kind of like, thank you, honey. Family chat with the kids. Thank you for stopping by. Next up, don't forget Gretchen from Made on the Loop. Make sure you go and follow all of my friends that you see them on their business page. Everybody tries so hard. It's like we gotta try just to get a little bit of views, but it helps out tremendously when you guys give us our hearts and comment. And we just love that you're here, because if you weren't here, we wouldn't have a reason to be here. So thank you so much for coming out and hanging out with me. And thank you. Refresh your page if you're on Craft Around the Clock, and you can see Gretchen, or she's on her page of Made on the Loop. Thank you, Mary Schneider. So I'll get a picture and I'll put these up after I make a big chunky one. Thanks, guys, and have a great week. Night, guys.